गृहेषु युञ्जन्ति कलेवरस्य मृत्युं न पश्यन्ति दुरन्तवीर्यम् धनं च धर्मैकफलं यतो वै ज्ञानं च विज्ञानम् अनुप्रशान्ति गृहेषु युञ्जन्ति कलेवरस्य मृत्युं न पश्यन्ति दुरन्तवीर्यम् धनं च धर्मैकफलं यतो वै ज्ञानं च विज्ञानम् अनुप्रशान्ति गृहेषु युञ्जन्ति कलेवरस्य मृत्युं न पश्यन्ति दुरन्तवीर्यम् फलं यतो वै ज्ञानं च विज्ञानम् अनुप्रशन्ति गृहेषु युञ्जन्ति कलेवरस्य Dhanam, wealth, cha, also dharmaika phalam, whose only proper fruit is religiosity, yatha, from which religious life. Why? Indeed, jnanam, knowledge, savijnanam, along with direct realization, anuprashanti, and subsequent liberation from suffering. Griheshu, in their homes, yunjanti, they utilize kalevarasya, of their material body, mrityum, the death, na pashyanti, they cannot see, duranta, insurmountable, viryam, the power of which. The only proper fruit, translation, the only proper fruit of acquired wealth is religiosity, on the basis of which one acquire a philosophical understanding of life that eventually matures into direct perception of the absolute truth and thus liberation from all suffering. Materialistic persons, however, utilize their wealth simply for advancement of their family situation. They fail to see that insurmountable death will soon destroy the frail material body. This Chamsamani is speaking to King Nimi. You can repeat after me translation, then we'll read properly. The only proper fruit of acquired wealth is religiosity, on the basis of which one can acquire a philosophical understanding of life that eventually matures into direct perception of the absolute truth and thus liberation from all sufferings. Materialistic persons, however, utilize their wealth simply for the advancement of their family situation. They fail to see that insurmountable death will soon destroy the frail material body. Purport. Those things that come under the control of proprietor are called dhanam or wealth. When a foolish person becomes addicted to spending all of his hard-earned money to increase the prestige of his material body and family, he is no longer able to see how death is steadily approaching his own body as well as the temporary bodies of all his family and friends. Mutyu sarva harshaham. The Supreme Lord appears as all-powerful death, which destroys all material situations. Actually, even in family life, one should use one's health for spiritual advancement of oneself and one's family. In the Krishna conscious movement, there are many religious householders who live a simple, peaceful life and use their wealth for arranging Krishna conscious activities at home and for helping the renounced brahmacharis and sannyasis who are actually preaching Krishna consciousness in public places. Such householders, even those who are not able to dedicate 100% of their energy to Krishna consciousness, gradually acquire a very solid understanding of spiritual principles of life and eventually become transcendentalists, firmly fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. Thus, they free themselves from all the anxieties of conditional life, namely birth, old age, disease, and death. Life without Krishna consciousness is actually poverty. But the poverty-stricken materialist, whose intelligence is limited, cannot perceive that real wealth is the expansion of consciousness up to the level of Krishna consciousness, love of Godhead. Such persons raise their children to be just like animals, having as their only goal, they raise their children to be just like animals, having as their only goal false prestige and material sense gratification. Such materialistic householders fear that excessive interest in spiritual life may damage the ambition of their children to acquire false material prestige. Actually, death will smash all the endeavors and plans of such spiritually improvised materialists. If family life and wealth are used for Krishna consciousness, one will learn to discriminate between the eternal and the non-eternal, between the spirit and matter, between the bliss and anxiety. And thus, the living entity will become liberated, go beyond mere theoretical knowledge to acquire the highest perfectional benediction of eternal Krishna conscious life. Limited sensory knowledge, pratyaksha jnana, is useless without theoretical spiritual knowledge, paroksha jnana, which gradually matures with careful cultivation. into direct realized knowledge of the soul, aparoksha jnana. The word anuprashanti in this verse indicates that by spiritual knowledge, vijnanam, one achieves the most sublime state of eternal bliss and bliss, far beyond the dreams of the materialistic conditional souls. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Niltam Nena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapitam Nena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagarjatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Savadutam Sadhutam Pariyana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarane Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratishe Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sri Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyev Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravuttamda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I seek blessing of all devotees for sitting here, so that I am able to speak from Srimad Bhagavatam, glorifying Lord and His devotees, and for my own purification and for benefit of serving all of you. So in this verse, Shamas Muni was explaining the only proper fruit of acquired wealth is religiosity, on the basis of which one can acquire philosophical understanding of life that eventually matures into direct perception of the absolute truth. Acquired wealth, he is comparing like real wealth is devotional service, or whatever one has, how he utilizes those things in service of the Lord. Properly, then one can gradually advance in Krishna consciousness. In one sense, acquired wealth, whatever actually one has, it is a wealth. So if it is properly utilized in devotional service, then he can advance in Krishna consciousness. But materialistic persons, however utilize their wealth simply for the advancement of family situation, they fail to see the insurmountable death will soon destroy the frail material body. So, materialistic persons actually, at the present condition, Shri Nitai Gauranga ki, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Present society, current Kali Yuga, people don't know what is devotional service or even duties of a human being. Even they don't have even kind of varnashma. Whatever they learn in schools is only just to earn money and how to enjoy. One time Prabhupada was giving lecture in one place, and Prabhupada is saying in the class, if you don't practice devotional service, you may become animal in the next life. You may become dog. The people who are sitting in class, then they thought, what is the problem in becoming dog? They are thinking, it's like people don't have a conception what is the goal of life. Like animals also eating, human beings also eating, animals also have sex, and human beings they also have. So they thought, what is the difference? It's like somebody says, you can eat stool also. People say that stool. They say that there is a lot of phosphates in the stool, and it's very healthy. Then it is, and that food is for dogs and hogs, not for human beings. So current society is like that. They don't even, they're so foolish that they don't even, they are suffering. One should have some sense to understand that people don't know what is suffering also. They think this is life, whatever we have to enjoy. It's just like animals. Animals also, they try to defend whatever possible, but they never think why I'm suffering, like that. So that is the current state of the society. When Srila Sanatana Goswami, when he approaches Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he asks, Ki ami kenamora tapatre? Who am I? Why am I suffering? That is the meaning of spiritual life. One should know that one is suffering. Even the apparent some sense pleasures are there. So in this purport, second purport, life without Krishna consciousness is actually poverty. So in this real wealth is actually devotional service. One should do. One should know, especially one has taken Krishna consciousness, one should clearly understand in one's life that the real wealth which one can acquire is by performing devotional service nicely. And that yesterday Prabhu is saying that in Nivritti Marga, this Bhagavata Vidhi process, which we practice is, in the beginning only it is, in the first canto, second chapter it comes, Dharmasya hi apavargasya nardo arthaya kalpate, narthasya dharmaikantasya kamo lavai smrita. In the beginning only it emphasis, when the sages ask the questions, what is the ultimate thing you want to give to the people? They say that all occupational engagements are meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Whatever we do, services, that should be for advancement in Krishna consciousness, not for any material gain. Even though if one gets some material gain by performing services and whatever, that should be never used for sense gratification. So this is very clear from beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that should be very clear in one's life that whatever I do, only for advancement in Krishna consciousness, not for sense gratification. Kamasya nendriya priti labho jiveti yavata jivasya tatta jignasa natoyasya karmahi. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life, all self-preservation. since a human being is meant for inquiry of absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's life. So life's desire should never be directed to sense gratification. One time, Arvind Prabhu is sharing a quote that says that sense gratification is like salt. You know, how much you add salt in the food? Thoda. To get taste. So some sense gratification required per person. If you don't get proper food, tasty prasad, one get disturbed. Why it is like this? So and suddenly we think why they are complaining. So enough thing required, and it depends on person to person also. किसका थोड़ा ज़्यादा है ना, तो जितना चाहिए उतना लेके आगे बढ़ना है. उधर ही ऐसा नहीं आप कौन नमक डाल के खाएगा, कोई खाते खाली नमक कोई देगा. तो सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन इंद्रिय तृप्ति करना मतलब नमक खा रहे लग रहा है, आदमी मर जाएगा. तो सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन लाइक साल्ट. One should take enough sufficient so that to keep the body and soul together, and go ahead, and whatever required, and for practicing Krishna consciousness, that should be a main thing. Not the goal is sense gratification. According to ashram, one is in whatever occupations. One has to see whatever required, how much sense gratification, whatever. Accordingly, one has to keep goal of life, practicing Krishna consciousness. And it should like it should not be like animals. Naim deho deho bhajan kashtan kaman arite vidbujani. So sense gratification, like what other animals do, that should not be the life of human beings. Tapo divyam, tapasya. One has to do tapasya, in one's life, and in Kali Yuga it is very. We have very less time. We don't know how many years we live, and the foods we eat, and kitna purity hai, we don't know. So whatever time we have, we should do. And we have got the real thing, Krishna consciousness, this Bhagavat Vidhi process given by our Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas. So we should take this very seriously and apply in life, and not to waste time. In the day, we have to very see that we are utilizing our time properly, and in serving Guru, Krishna and Vaishnavas. And our mind is so sometimes fickle, like looks for sense gratification. But one has to be alert and take help of others, and then one can be protected. So, and as we see here, that one should utilize all his wealth in devotional service, or like here in the purport it said that the devotees who are having families, they utilize that in performing devotional service in home and facilitating spreading Krishna consciousness for others. So in that way, by utilizing like that one's own wealth, then one can gradually advance in Krishna consciousness. Then the first purport it comes, and it does not depend on whether one is very wealthy or poor. Like in the life of Paul Vachasari, we see, he is living in a thatched hut. and everything has holes in the hut, and the holes in his cloth, and is meagerly eating, but is very happily chanting the holy names, in ecstasy, and Lord is so much touched by the Kolvech Sridhar's devotion. One time, Lord comes to his home and drinks from his pot, which he utilizes for everything. So that is the devotion of Kolvech Sridhar. Even though he is a poor, whatever he earns, utilizes it in serving Ganga, and living a simple life and practicing devotion service nicely. So it is like whether a person like poor Kolvech Sridhar or King Prataprudra. King Prataprudra is like a king of the whole Odisha. But his determination to for devotional service, to get the darshan of Lord Chaitanya, and he says he requests King Prataprudra for an interview with the Lord Chaitanya, but Chaitanya Prabhu did not. He rejects the idea of giving permission to King Prataprudra because he is a king and involved in material activities. So he doesn't get the opportunity to meet Lord Chaitanya, King Prataprudra. So he says that, what is the use of my kingdom if I don't get the interview with the Lord or meeting the Lord? And he says that, what is the use of all my kingdom? It is all useless. And he says, and if I don't get the mercy of the Lord, I will give up my life. So this is the determination of King Prataprudra. A devotee with Maharaj Pratapradra's determination will certainly be victorious in advancing in Krishna consciousness. So we should see in our life how much we are determined in our Krishna consciousness. If we are following the footsteps of Maharaj Pratapadra, determined, says that if I don't get mercy of the Lord, I will give up my life. That should be one's determination. Satatam kirtiyam tamam yatam tasya dradavrata namantasya mam bhaktya nityukta upasati. Always chanting my glories, enduring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So, we have to analyze in our life how we are determined in every aspect. That way, that will reflect in our life how we are utilizing our time. If we are determined and very focused, then we utilize our time properly. Otherwise, we see there is gap in devotional service. In between, time goes in prajalpa or sleeping, oversleeping or overeating, and all those things. Atyahar prayasasya prajalpa niyamagraha janasammasalo lancha chadvibhakti vinashyati. So when he's Sarvam Bhattacharya, when he sees the determination of King Pratapadra, he becomes astonished. Why? Because he's the king of the whole Orissa. Normally, somebody is wealthy, they are satisfied in their having all the things. But here we see King Prataparudra, after having as a king and wealth, all the thing, Janam, Dhanam, Sundari, everything was there. But he was like a Chatka board. He was only aspiring the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So that makes Sarvam Bhattacharya being astonishing. Then Bhattacharya says, "My dear king, do not worry. Because of your firm determination, I am sure that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy will definitely bestowed upon you." So Bhattacharya, he predicts that he will get the mercy because of his determination. And Sarvam Bhattacharya is the spiritual master of King Prataparudra. Brahmanda Brahmitenu Kona Bhagyavanjan Guru Krishna Prasad Paye Bhakti Latabish. So if the disciple is firmly determined in one's practice, then by the mercy of Guru, one gets the lotus feet of the Lord. The mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna combine to grant success to the devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness. So we should see in our life, we are determined as the years pass, it will be a test in one's life. One has to become more finer. Initially, you try to struggle from, problem with the others will discourage you. Then you have to manage with them like that. Afterwards, like in the beginning, when you join, there is observation on you. Somebody is observing you. You have to put attendance and everything. But as the days pass, one has to take initiative of his own and sincerely analyze one's heart and keep clear in one life. What I am doing, why I am doing, what is my motive for doing. Otherwise, when we are practicing chanting the holy names, there is Nama Prad, Nama Bas, Shuddhanam. So to go from one stage to another, one has to become more finer. First, we have to see whether we are avoiding 10 offenses in chanting, and each offenses, understanding it, and we have to avoid those offenses. But one go little further, Nama Bas, with offenses and anarthas, one has to cross with the help of Guru and Vaishnavas. So, very important in one's life to have the determination continue, and follow the rules and regulations properly. Niyamagraha, not just following rules only for the sake of following, or duplicity or hypocrisy. So one has to clear those things in one's life if they are there. Then it's possible to from Namamas to then Shuddhana. Otherwise, it doesn't not depend on how many years it's passing. It depends on one's sincerity. Not because one is stayed for many years. Yes, we can cross those unless one person with determination Of course, we are depend on the mercy of Guru, Vaishnavas, but one has to be sincere and to take Krishna consciousness very seriously and sincerely practice. So one has determination like Pratap Rudra, that nothing values other than devotion service. That should be in one's life, aspiration. Even one may be struggling now, but aspiration, and with that aspiration, take the association of devotees in life and practice seriously. Then one can achieve, by the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas, one can achieve the mercy of the Lord here. So this sloka, Dhanam cha dhanmayika phalam yato vai jnanam cha vijnanu anuprashanti griheshu yunjanti kalevarasya muktim na pashyanti duranta virya. So the only wealth is, here religiosity said that is devotional service in that sense. One should it should be in heart. What one values in one's life. Then accordingly we spend our time, whatever we have. So if one understands that real wealth is devotional service, and whatever favorable thing for that to practice devotional service, one has to adjust his life and apply in one life. Then one can jnanam sa vijnanam anuprashanti. Gradually one gets realization of the absolute truth. But somebody who is like materialistic and thinking that my situation and my material things, material situation, family or other things, have to settle my life and live here, then for them Krishna comes like death. Mukti sarvasya chaho. For a devotee, it doesn't matter death, because he is absorbed in Krishna. So those who are absorbed in Krishna consciousness, for them death is not a matter. He leaves body and takes another body to serve Krishna or go back to Godhead. But for materialist, their suffering will continue. There may be suffering in the devotee life also, but it's going to end. If you have disease, you are taking medicine, then the disease will go and the suffering will go. Taking Krishna consciousness is like taking medicine. But somebody is not taking medicine, the suffering will continue in the cycle of birth and death. It is like switching off the fan. So when you switch off the fan, it will stop slowly. So in devotee life also there may be suffering, but it is like clearing off. If one practice nicely, then the whatever suffering that will go away, whatever in this material world. But one achieves Krishna, which is love of Godhead, and when he goes back to Godhead. So the real wealth is devotional service, that we should understand in one's life. Hare Krishna. Anybody have any question? Comments? Today is Raghunandan Das Thakur. We can read. If anybody have no question, we will. Mobile. All the associates of Lord Chaitanya are Nitya Siddhas. Anyone who have faith that all the associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are all Nitya Siddhas. Then one gets firm faith in devotional service, one achieves Krishna. So here we read from about Raghunandan Das Thakur. There are three brothers, Sri Mukunda Das, Madhav Das and Sri Narhari Sarkar Thakur were the three brothers who lived in the village of Srikanda. Raghunandan was the son of Sri Mukunda Das. So Raghunandan Thakur is the son of Mukunda Das. So there is a pastime where his son is, shows the symptoms of more advanced than his father. Normally we see in Grasta devotees, they train children. उसको लेके एक्ट लेते हैं, उसको प्रेस करके दंडवत करवाते हैं उनको बच्चों के ट्रेनिंग करने के लिए. Sometimes the children climb on the father when he's paying obeisance. So like that, so they train the children. Here in this case, Mukundas, he has in his even now the deities worship Sri Gopinath. So one time when Mukunda Das, he has occupation in different things. I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gives instruction to all these three brothers, alag services. One to take care of deity, one like this. So he has to go out. So he says to his son, he shows the procedure how to worship and says that. Because I'm going out, you do this service of offering bhoga to Gopinath. So Raghunandan, after father leaves home, he does the same way the father tells him, but Lord accepts through another way. But he is so innocent and so pure in heart. And he says that my father has given me this service to feed you, but if you don't take this, if you don't honor, my father will come and ask me why you didn't feed me. So he then starts crying and praying to Gopinathji. Then seeing the devotion of Raghunandan, not start eating. The whole prasad, he finishes the whole bhoga which is offered. Then he brings the empty plate to his mother like that. Then when Mukunda, when he returns home, he asks whether he has done the service. Then he says, yes, I did, and I offered to Gopinath. Then he asks, you bring the remnants of prasad, like we offer to Nitai Gauranga. Especially when you do management. Somebody booking the prasad, say that isko आधा दे दो, इसको Moga is offering is going on. You do the management. So of course that is a service, but somebody is going in altar, he should not think. Sometimes that happens. I am doing the offering and doing the management. Sometimes I feel it is not good. So जो भोग ऑफरिंग करेगा वो थोड़ा शांत से भगवान को प्यार से खिलाना चाहिए. जो जिसका सेवा है वो करना चाहिए. 2-3-4 मिला के करिए तो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होगा. Somebody is doing cooking and he is doing something else. So विवेक चेतना उसमें जाता है ना. So what is it? Now we think that it will come like Mukunda Das, he asks, bring the remnants. Then he says that Lord has taken everything. He has eaten everything I offered. Then he says he able not to fully believe. So he wants to see whether God is accepted. So he says that he asks his son to offer. Then again he offers the bhoga. Then he goes and hides and sees, and this time also Raghunandan, he so much praise to the Gopinath, to take the Lord starts taking, and Mukunda sees that, seeing that Lord is accepting. He's trying to come and see. So the Lord takes half and leaves the other part. So this is the devotion of Raghunandan Thakur. His father says, whether I don't know whether he's my son or he's my father, because of his advancement in his son's devotion. Of course, all the devotees, all are the Siddhas of Lord Chaitanya. So this is one of the pastime of Raghunandan Das Thakur. By his devotion, he offers to Gopinathji, and he accepts everything. At the time, his age is only 5 years, and this pastime happens. Shri Raghunandan Das Thakur ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.